Ladies and gentlemen, Larry Bird.
He was the most motivated player I ever saw.
Larry Bird is one of the biggest trash talkers ever.
Larry was a basketball genius. A mask of a hick from Finch Lick out as his calling card. And if you believe that for 1 second, you were going to get beaten.
So if you ask Zaza Sports me what one of my biggest hot takes is, it's that Larry Bird is the better player than Magic Johnson. Now hold up. I understand Magic Johnson might have more rings and he might be more popular for the GOAT candidate out of the two. But in a vacuum, as a player, I do believe Larry Bird is better than Magic Johnson. Their careers parallel in an insane way, playing each other in the national championship in college. But my thing is, if you look at their individual play styles, if you look how they played throughout their career, I do think Larry Bird was the better player than Magic Johnson. He might not have as much rings, but as a player, I think Larry Bird's the better one. And to show you this, I want to compare their stats from points per game, assists per game, and how good of defenders they were, and how good of playmakers in general they were. So let's start off with points per game. This one, it's not a debate. While Magic Johnson has showed spurts of scoring at a high level and at a high volume, as you see in Game 6 of the 1980 NBA Finals, which was his first season, by the way, he dropped 42 points, and he had 15 rebounds in the game as well, in the title clinching game. But as you see, Magic Johnson had the ability to score at a high level, being a 6'9" point guard and all. He wasn't the scorer that Larry Bird was. Shooting, it wasn't even close. Larry Bird was the better shooter than Magic Johnson from the three-point line, from the mid-range, from almost anywhere on the floor. Averaging 24.3 points per game and having a true shooting percentage of 56.4, which is overall lower than Magic Johnson when it comes to true shooting percentage. But if you consider Larry Bird took more shots, you can make sense of it easily. And not to mention Magic Johnson's highest point per game season, which was 86 to 87 season, where he averaged 24 points per game. That wouldn't even crack top 5 of Larry Bird's best scoring seasons at all. But that's not a controversial take that Larry Bird's the better scorer than Magic Johnson. We all know that. If you have eyes and know basketball, you know Larry Bird's just the overall better scorer, one of the greatest scorers of all time. But now let's get to playmaking. This is closer than you might think, I'm not gonna lie. While Magic Johnson is by far the greatest playmaker of all time, don't sleep on Larry Bird though. You already know Magic Johnson's accolades. He has the most assists per game. Up to John Stockton, he had the most assists in NBA history. And besides his first 3 seasons in the league, he never averaged under 11 assists per game, which is just ridiculous. But Larry Bird, a 6'10" wing, by the way, was an all-time great passer, averaging 6 assists per game for his career. And at the peak, averaging 7.6 assists per game for a career. And back then, that is just great for your wing to average, along with the 24 points per game he's gonna put up for his entire career. That's just all-time stuff from Larry Bird. But with that being said, Magic Johnson, of course, is the better passer, better playmaker. He's the greatest playmaker of all time. And the reason he's the greatest point guard of all time is because he's the only #1 player on a team that was a true point guard, in the sense he's a pass-first player, to be the best player on a championship-winning team. And he won 5 of them in 13 seasons. But I'm just gonna give it to Magic Johnson because he's the GOAT passer. Now let's get to defense. None of these guys were slouches on defense, but when it comes to the best defender out of these two, it goes to Larry Joe Bird. To go along with Larry Bird's 24 points per game and 6 assists per game, this dude averaged 10 rebounds per game as a forward, by the way. Now, I know rebounds don't equivalent to good defense, not to mention he was a versatile defender as well. Even though with his lack of athleticism, he was still great on that end of the court. And just for reference, before Larry Bird joined the Boston Celtics, they were ranked 19th in team defense. When he joined them, they went all the way to the 4th spot. Not to mention, to go along with the 24, 6, and 10, he averaged 1.7 steals per game and 0.8 blocks per game. And his basketball IQ on the defensive end was legendary, mainly because his motor was just insane back then. Like, look at these clips of him playing defense.
Corner rebounded by Smith. Now to Romar. Up to King. Driving through the hoop. Bird with a great over the top block. Romar gets it. Misses a 10-footer out of the lane. Bird the rebound.
From Philadelphia. Has he played all that much, Keith? What's been the story?
He played quite a bit at first. Larry Bird makes a beautiful steal from Bingo Smith.
Catlidge. Jeff Malone back to Catlidge. Bird stripped him. Parrish got the ball.
What defense? Beautiful defense.
McHale to Bird. Got it. And went down hard.
and of course this iconic play against the Detroit Pistons.
It's over to get right on DJ, and DJ gets the pass anyway. All right. 14 seconds left. On the left it goes to Bird. Bird guarded by Mahorn. Drives around him. Goes on in. And the ball gets knocked out of bounds by oh, they call it the other way. And now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ. Lays it in. Right at 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the inbounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in.
Now, of course, Magic Johnson was a great defender. Him being a 6'9" point guard and his size will make him that way. He was simply cut out to be a good defender since birth. But if we look at the accolades of defense alone, Magic Johnson still made no all-defensive teams in his career to Larry Bird's 3. So we're gonna have to give the defense to Larry Bird. But when it comes to accolades, straight up, Larry Bird doesn't beat Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson has more finals MVPs and has more championships and having the same amount of MVPs. But you could argue at the same time that Magic Johnson slightly had the better team. Not saying the 1980 Boston Celtics were shit, because obviously they were a dynasty, but Magic Johnson had slightly the better team for most of his championship runs. But with all that being said, I do believe Larry Bird is the more complete player. Now, most people will rank Magic Johnson above Larry Bird straight based off of accolades. But if we're looking at him in a vacuum, take the accolades away, look at what they do as an individual player, you can't argue with me that Magic Johnson is the better individual player. He might have the better career than Larry Bird, but Larry Bird overall, when it comes to scoring, rebounding, and defense, he has Magic Johnson beat in all of those. The only thing you can really argue Magic Johnson is better than Larry Bird at is passing and playmaking. But that's the end of this short video for real. I just wanted to get this off my chest. I didn't have too much video ideas, but like, subscribe, and I'll catch y'all boys later. Peace.
And what happens, just like me, I said, man, I'm going to retake the test because you want to find out. Maybe they made a mistake. So I retook the test.
Was it right?
Yes, it was right.
When you first got the information, did you ever say to yourself, it was that nasty bitch from Sacramento who did that?
Well,